So I have to say, I have a couple of short pieces to read. I'm not sure that, from what we've heard tonight, that the theme really is I live here. Based on what I've heard so far, the theme tonight seems to be you need to have a list. In any case, that's all right, because I live here. As I was looking through my work, it doesn't quite work for me as a theme. It's not quite my theme. I have no pieces that unambiguously say I live here. I have pieces that ambiguously say I live here, and a few that are more on the subject of exile than home. But in any case, here's what I got. Almost none of them have titles, so we'll begin with untitled. I am from the plains. I have no people. I drove on one long road out of the wheat fields and into the desert, and from the desert over the mountains, and I was alone the whole way, this time. The last time I traveled through the Badlands, there was a girl in the car, Kate. We entered the deserts of New Mexico, and nothing was ever in sight. She stared out of the windows the way a kid stares at a blank TV, waiting for something to happen. Her mind got distracted. She took her shirt off, just for a change, and let me run my hand over her chest while I drove, to keep from being bored. I dropped her off in Tahoe, and she gave me her number, but I haven't called it. Frankly, I doubt it's real. Not everybody can make these long trips from one geography to another. People love the mountains or the ocean. People are used to seeing big sky or dark clouds. Who we are is reflected in the geography we adapt to. I am from the plains, but I have no people. My mind is clear, and when I drive through the long flatlands of Nebraska, I do not grow bored, and the swamps of Florida do not frighten me. I am turning around now from the ocean, from the California coast. I am driving back the way I came, this time without a passenger. My phone did not ring with a young person's voice, begging, "Take me out of here," the way they sometimes do. I don't know how they find my number. I've been told it's put on message boards, kept written on electronic walls in places where stable people don't look. From the way strangers who call me have acted, I imagine the inscription reads something like this: "To get far away and never be found, call Hadrian. Offer whatever you can, offer everything if you have to. You'll go as far as you can and end up where they'll never find you." And it's true. I take them as far as they can go, over the mountains, through the plains, across the rivers, until the territory looks too unfamiliar and they tell me stop, stop, no more. Put me one town back from too much. But not this time. My phone is silent. The world is silent, except for an ocean breeze, the lapping of the tide, and the slam of my car door. I spark the ignition and take the turn slow. It will be dark soon. I have a long night ahead of me, and will not stop for anything. Thank you. This next piece is untitled. We don't get to see much rain around here, so we all stayed up for the storm. Not because we need it. We've learned how to get by on just a little water. That's the secret. But because rain is a goddamn powerful thing. The heavens opening up. Primitive man once took thunder for a sign of the gods, and I don't blame him. There was a time, back when I lived in the East, that rain was a common thing, and I took extra long showers and let the hot water run hard against my bare skin. I was beautiful then. Beauty is a condition of luxury. Those were strange times, when all I knew how to do was make trouble for the people who gave me a chance. Biting the hand that feeds you is a skill, just like any other, and you get better with practice. The storm rolls in just after midnight, and the kids are excited just to see any drops of rain. They want to go out and play in it, but I put my hands on their shoulders, and behind me William White does the same, and Tom Holden. Those clouds are big. Even by the moon, we can see the way they swirl, like they're carrying a tornado on their back. If the ground weren't getting so wet and so heavy so fast, we'd have an epic dust storm around us, and we didn't prepare for that tonight. I look over at Morris and White, and they nod, and we begin shutting the house down. The basement doors are thrown wide, and the valuables all start going inside. The kids whine and moan, which means we haven't raised them right. Although I shouldn't say we, because I've had as little to do with it as I could get away with. They should listen. The world is dangerous, and the ugly shits haven't grown up in luxury. William calls out to me to guess how much time we have, and I shout back, "None!" And he and Holden are men as hard as rock. They don't second guess. They dive down the stairs at a run, and when they see I'm not following, they close the basement doors behind them. Good men. Good fathers. I slip outside. The wind makes it almost impossible to shut the door again, and the rain hits me like a hammer just as the sky lights up. And then God sends me the message I've been waiting for. Recently got over a cold, by the way, so if I start a coughing fit, that's not part of the story. This next one is untitled. It is traditional for monks of the Cistercian order to manufacture some item for the public good. The Abbey of Stift Heiligenkreuz has manufactured bricks for the local people to use for centuries. The Carthusian Abbey produces cheese. The monks of Scormont Abbey produce beer. In the morning and at night, they chant hymns and Bible verses in complicated ecstatic harmonies. Monks are only human, and I was in attendance at the Brabant Abbey for the funeral of Abbot Casparus. I pretended to be a spiritual tourist, jaded and cynical, when in fact I was a pilgrim. I pretended to be decadent, when in fact I was eyeing celibacy with the same ardor I had once reserved for powerful-seeming women in bars. Please, I asked silently, show me a depth and strength that I can believe in, rather than one more wall made of crumbling resolve. I was there, the monks sympathetic but bothered by me, when they buried their old and worldly abbot, and brought out casks of brandy they had made by hand as an act of devotion to God. I was there, uninvited, in the corner, and not a drop touched my lips as they passed around goblets and told stories in French of the wisdom of the dead. I saw tears, and I heard the laughter, as man after man took enough solace to make his legs wobbly and his eyes weak. I was the first man to hear the bell calling for the night services ring. I do not know who sounded it. I watched them look around and try to stumble to their feet. I watched them, mumbling in French, until Brother Karsten made a decision and pointed to the crucifix mounted in the banquet hall. I saw them all gradually turn to face it. I saw them, as one, begin their drunken plain chant. I heard their voices, in perfect symmetry, recall the words of their faith. And then I wept, because it was even more beautiful than it had been the night before. Their intoxicated harmonies filled with simple love. And I wept, because I knew I could never be one of them. I left the next morning. They gave me bread and cheese, and went back to the city, where I found a bar, drank the brandy made by monks, and told lies once again. This story, that music, is the only thing you really know about me. And we're going to end with a slightly longer piece. This one has a title. It's an unimaginative title, however. It's called Charon. After what I guess was 1,000,000 years, give or take, Charon got bored ferrying people across the River Styx and asked for a little change in routine, something to make the next 1,000,000 go by a little faster. Frankly, I thought it was a bad idea, but I don't call the shots around here. I'm just a piano player. Lucky to be alive is what I tell myself, although that's not strictly true. The only person Charon would go to with a request like this was Hades, which is too bad because the god of death doesn't really understand why we need to pass the time at all. Now Zeus is all about distractions. Lightning flashes, after all. I once saw the father of the gods draw a diagram in the dirt for a whole new creation, a whole new world on that riverbank over there. Draw it just like that, next to the river of souls, then walk away. Forgot all about it. The spirits in the water crane their necks to see it whenever the waves get close. The dead walk across it all the time, but their footprints never leave a mark. Even the imagination of a god is more real than the corpse of a man. How are you people doing? I ask as the next batch of souls wanders off the boat and past my little stage. I'm wearing a mask, so my lips don't move. You can only see my eyes darting behind it. I'm Daxian. I'll be giving you a little show on your way over to the other side. If you have any requests, just let me know, and let me know now. There isn't much music where we're going. Somebody, a throwback from the days of a very long time ago, drops a gold coin into my chip jar. It clatters around, hitting mostly glass, and I jump at the sound. Thank you, I say, trying to catch the woman's eyes, but her hair is long and in the way. Thank you very much. That puts me in a good mood, so maybe I'll start with something upbeat. If there are no requests, then here's an old favorite, I say. Gets it every time. I clear my throat. A long, long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile. And I knew if I had my chance that I could make those people dance. At the head of the boat, his long pole halfway into the water, Sharon turns his skull back to me and shakes his head. For some reason, he doesn't like that song. Never has. Too bad, but he's the boss. I am here for his benefit, not theirs. Truth is, I think he's as uncertain about this whole arrangement as I am, but Hades was trying to be accommodating. It's classically Greek when you think about it. Solve a problem of discontentment through art. Charon is just like Sisyphus, condemned to perform a physically demanding task for eternity. Only Charon's, allegedly, is meaningful. And Charon, when he complains that the burden is too much, is given music by the gods to ease his soul. Tell you what, I tell the crowd, who are huddling into themselves and staring at Charon and peering over the side, which is the way this almost always happens, only a few people ever being able to think of art at a time like this. How about I just improvise? I crack my knuckles, my fingers spread out across the piano, and I let a feeling flow out of me. There was a guy here many trips ago who asked if instead of playing I could accompany him on an a cappella sea shanty. That was a good moment. I liked that guy. I hope he's found contentment on the other side. I never did. When Hades picked me to entertain the Farrier of Souls, they found me in a grave I dug for myself in the Valley of Shadows, and I'd ripped my own face off with these fingers, these magical fingers, just to feel something. That's why I wear the mask. It didn't work. Artists are the hardest hit by death, because life is the only medium we've ever really worked in. I don't know if Charon gets anything out of my playing or not, but I'll take this ship for eternity, behind my copper mask. I try to tell them, through my music, what it's like, my fingers trying to harmonize notes into emotion. The truth is, it will be all right. There's no pain over there, and there are answers. All kinds of answers, just nothing to do with them. If they're not artists, they will be all right. I close my eyes, let my face just be the mask, try to trace my fingers for the piano, my breath for the piano, trade my heart for the keyboard. Just my fingers move, my fingers in the boat, rising and falling on waves of souls. It will be all right. It will be all right. If you're not artists, it will be all right. And if you are an artist, then enjoy this now. Be here now. Please, trust me. I can feel the water grow shallow. I can tell, between arpeggios, that we're nearly there. I bring my improvisation to a close. I don't know why they chose me. I can't possibly be the best piano player in history, let alone musician. It wasn't mercy, I know that. It wasn't a gesture of pity towards a young musician who clawed his face off and dug his own grave in a land where there is no pain. Maybe I'm just lucky. Or maybe I'm the best musician who's left down here, instead of being taken up there to Olympus to entertain the immortal gods. I could see that. It's the kind of backhanded compliment that's usually true. The boat docks. My fingers stop. My eyes open. They file off one by one. The old men, the young boys, the woman with the very long hair, the grandmothers, all pass by, going one way. Good night, everyone, I say. Good luck. I'll be here for all eternity. Charon is still for a moment, then almost seems to take a deep breath and pushes the boat back into the water. He turns his head to me, which is rare, and nods. Then nods again, beckoning me. I look over my shoulder at the living shore and play a jazz version of a sailor song. We are both workers, and in the grand design, The gods have been kind to us.